Hello YouTubers, happy Sunday, and in today's video I would like to review my Rolex Milgauss. This is my second Rolex watch, and I've gotten this since about 2 weeks ago where I did the unboxing. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, guys, please subscribe to my channel, and then you can see a lot videos out there that I have posted. And I posted about 2 weeks ago the unboxing video of this Rolex Milgauss, and in today's video I would like to basically kind of give a brief review of this watch. Alright guys, so let's get started. This watch is an anti-magnetic watch from Rolex. That's why it's called Milgauss. Mil is 1000, so 1000 Gauss. Gauss is a measurement of magnetic force. So this watch can withstand 1000 Gauss of magnetic force, which is just more than enough from what I understand. So if you expose this watch to like magnetic force from all of the electrical devices around us, it will withstand it. So it will not have any problem with that. So it will not affect the accuracy of this watch, which is very nice. And so what I want to, this is a relatively simple watch, guys, and what I want to basically, I just want to, in this review, I want to point out some simple things, you know, that perhaps those of you who are considering buying this watch should be aware of. And the first thing that I would like to point out is that this watch is quite thick. This is even though it's listed as about 13.5 or 13.2 millimeter in Rolex website, but it's actually very thick watch. I mean, you can see here, this is the thickness, and as a comparison, I'm gonna give you a comparison, and this is my Sea Dweller 16600, which was listed as like about 14.5 millimeter in thickness. But if you can see, like side by side, you can see actually Milgauss top it, you know, in terms of thickness. So, you know, don't be deceived by the paper spec, in my opinion, because in real life Milgauss is actually a very substantial piece. This is quite a big chunk of watch, guys. You know, it's very thick, it's heavy, and the reason why it's heavy and thick is because it to protect the movement, you know. So Rolex basically cover the movement of this watch with what they call Faraday cage, you know, to protect the movement from the magnetic force. And this is why it's so thick and you know, it's heavy. So you know, this this watch, if you take it apart, you know, the movement is gonna be covered with layers of metals, you know, from what I've seen in the website. So that's the reason why it's quite a chunky watch. It's quite a heavy and substantial watch. So this thing that you have to be aware of, because if you get accustomed to wearing a watch that is about, you know, 10 millimeter, you know, thin watch, you know, like a dress watch, or maybe if you get like an Explorer, Rolex Explorer, which is like about 12 millimeter, or Submariner 12 millimeter of thickness, you'll be quite surprised if you get Milgauss, because it's, you know, you feel it on your wrist. And for some people, if they don't like it, I mean, they don't like it, you know, they don't like to wear big thick watch. Me, fortunately, before this watch I was wearing Breguet Top 20 Aquaterra, Omega Aquaterra, which was about 13 to 14 millimeter. So then, you know, when I take this watch, you know, when I own it and wear it, I don't get shocked, I don't get surprised. Okay, and matter of fact, when I go to a Rolex boutique and then try on the Rolex Explorer, I kind of feel like, oh, okay, it's so thin, you know. I mean, like I get used to wearing a watch with a bit of wrist presence. And then also, this watch is relatively simple with no date. So as you can see, it's some people like it, some people don't like it. I personally like it because when you have no date, you know, the symmetry is there. Yeah, you know, the symmetry is just great. But I cannot deny that I use about, you know, 10 to 15% of the 10 to 15% of the time I use date. Sometimes I would like to see the date, you know, to see you know, oh, what date is today, you know, but it's about 10 to 15% of the time. So it doesn't really bother me if the watch doesn't have date, you know, but for some people, you know, it bothers them, you know, especially if you only have one watch and that watch don't have the date, you know, that's quite a deal breaker, you know. But if you, let's say you have more than one watch, I think having no date is really no problem at all. And what I really like about a watch having no date is that you can set the time easier, because if, let's say, you have a couple watches and let's say because, you know, normally it's, you know, the more watches you have, you know, it's gonna get harder and harder for you to rotate between wearing them. And sometimes, you know, the watch is off, and then you have to set the time again. You know, with a date, it's just, you know, it's more difficult in my opinion, you know, because you have to pay attention to the date. And but this one, since it has no date, you know, it's quicker if I want to set the time when it's off. And also, what I really want to mention about this watch, the one feature that I feel it really stands out is the green sapphire, guys. It is a very nice green sapphire. If you can see, this watch has a green tinted crystal, green tinted GV, they call it, green tinted sapphire here around its bezel. And that thing is very cool, because from what I understand, there's no other watches in the market today from any companies, from any brands, that have this feature. So Rolex, from what I read in the internet, you know, Rolex didn't even patent this this green crystal, because they claim that it's so challenging to make. So yeah, they dare anybody to just basically go in and you know, and do it if they can. You know, they didn't even patent it, okay, from what I understand. So it's really cool. I mean, and also among other Rolex, you know, this is the only one. This is the only one in the Rolex lineup that have this feature. So it's very cool. I personally like it. Some people don't like it, but I think it's very cool, and you know, it feels quirky for some people. And then also the Thunderbolt hands, the Thunderbolt second hand is also is a nice touch. You know, it feels very unusual. And this watch has water resistance of 100 meters, so you can definitely swim with it. So you don't have to be worried about exposing this watch to water. And this is why I like Rolex. And in particular this watch, because if you look at it, it's actually quite dressy, but at the same time it's a sporty watch. Okay, so it can take magnetic force, it can take water, you know, 100 meters water resistance. It can be, you know, it's dressy, it can be dressy, you can dress it up, you can dress it down. So it's quite a flexible watch actually. And also it's you know, as you can see, with a green tinted crystal, it's a unique watch, okay, and it's flexible, okay. It can be a dress watch, it can be a sporty watch, you know, and yeah, just a very simple watch, and you can use it anytime basically. And also what I really like about this watch, not only it's unique with the green crystal, it's also underrated. You know, when you wear a Rolex, I mean, like some Mariner, GMT, people will probably realize that you're wearing a Rolex, but sometimes, guys, you don't really want, I mean, personally, me, I don't really want to attract attention from strangers, you know, that I wear like a luxury watch. And Milgauss really do that very well, because not a lot of people, unless you're really like a watch geek, watch person, you know, you probably won't realize that this is a Rolex. I mean, if you know, any common people, when they look at this, you know, they probably won't realize that this is a Rolex actually, because it's just so it's not ordinary. It's just very unique with a green crystal, Thunderbolt hands, you know. And Rolex, if you think about it, I mean, Rolex normally just come up with a classic design, okay. They're very conservative as a company, but this watch has a very you know, kind of just like crazy design for some people, okay. So yeah, so it's underrated, under the radar, which is another bonus for me personally, because I really like it, because I don't really like to attract attention. And in terms of accuracy, guys, this watch has been very accurate. My experience with this watch has been amazing. I gain about 1 second in a day. So consistently, you know, 1 second. My Sea Dweller beats this Milgauss in terms of accuracy, and Sea Dweller, I mean, it's a more expensive watch, and I feel that the accuracy is just more accurate. I gained about like 0 point something for Sea Dweller, which is just insane. You know, that's like my most accurate watch ever. But this watch at 1 second per day, gain 1 second per day, is really great as well. I mean, it's within COSC chronometer specification. Okay. So overall, guys, what I want to say is this. I mean, this watch has been very great for me. You know, I travel, whenever I travel, I normally wear this instead of my Sea Dweller, because first, it's more under the radar, it's underrated, and it's anti-magnetic watch, which means sometimes when I travel abroad, matter of fact, I just went to on a business trip, you know, about a week ago, and then so I just got back, and then so when I was in the airport, you know, sometimes the security guard, you know, asked me to take off the watch, and then they're gonna put it inside the scanner. You know, I'm not afraid with that, you know, I mean, because this watch has anti-magnetic feature, so it can withstand all of this electrical devices. So it doesn't really matter, you know, so it will not affect the accuracy of this watch. So I like to travel with this watch more than my Sea Dweller. Okay, so first, because it's more under the radar, it's anti-magnetic, and also it's quite dressy. So on a business trip, you know, I mean, I can dress it up, you know, with a suit. Yeah, it's good, but let's say on a weekend, if I just, you know, in my leisure time, you know, wearing this, it's also compatible. So it's just a very flexible watch, and the fact that it doesn't have date makes it even more under the radar. And so yeah, overall, it's just a stunning watch in my opinion. And this is the bonus, guys. Rolex Milgauss is so underrated in today's market. I mean, Rolex, if you are really a watch person, you probably know already that Rolex has been restricting supply of the watch, and this watch, because it's so unpopular back then, you can still get it relatively easier compared to like Submariner or GMT, or like you know, the Pepsi, Batman, whatever it is, Hulk. And this watch is an underdog in Rolex lineup, but to me, it's actually a very unique watch. I mean, how many times you see a Rolex, release a watch with crazy feature like this, you know, green tinted crystal, thunderbolt hands. It's just a very unique sport watch from Rolex, guys, which in my opinion is quirky enough, and so, and it is underrated at this point of time. So and matter of fact, I mean, this past 1 year, the price has been going up, but that's not just for this watch, but other watches in Rolex lineup. But I still feel like this is quite a bargain that you can pick up today, and I think that it will have a future collectability for this watch. So yeah, a very good watch, has a very unique feature, and also at the same time has a future collectability prospect, in my opinion. So guys, if you are considering this watch, I suggest that you, if you have money, I mean, yeah, sure, why not? This is a very beautiful watch, and I hope this brief review will help you in you know, I will help you in your purchasing decision of Rolex Milgauss. All right, guys, this is just a brief video about this Rolex Milgauss. I hope this helps. I hope this is entertaining. And again, guys, if you like it and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please, I encourage you to do so. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.